Hey, it's Tom from Texas, and it's time for another floppy deep dive. And the purpose of this video today is I'm going to show you what I've been doing for the last week and a half. I've been creating retro posters. Yes, my oldest son moved out and I have a whole empty room to myself, and I'm going to turn it into a retro room. And I decided it would be really cool if I could surround myself with the game covers, manuals, pictures of my favorite Commodore 64 games, and that's exactly what I did. I'm creating 24 by 36 posters, and I'm hanging them up in my retro room. And the cool thing about the retro room and the posters is if I ever get tired of the picture, I just pick another game and I'll make another poster. So it's really cool to keep fresh. It's really cool to surround you with stuff that you love, like video games that you grew up like I'm doing. So I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that I do to turn these games, manuals, box covers, whatever I want, into great, cool-looking posters for my retro room. So let's get started. So what got me thinking that I wanted to make posters? Well, I started looking at my artwork. I started looking at different manuals, the artwork on these boxes, and I think they're just really, really cool. And they did a really, really good job on all of them to make really cool posters. Maybe not the porn star pirate, but like the space taxi that I did. All I did is I scanned this in to create the poster. Same with my Maniac Mansion. I just used my box and then I fixed it. Now, of course, there's always going to be little, things in the corners where there's errors, but that's when Photoshop, that's when different photo editing programs come into play before you turn it into a poster. Some people wonder why I leave these stickers on here, because to me, that's just as important as the picture. I love down there that it's for the Commodore 64 or 128 that is showing that. I also love these Atari soft manuals that I came across when I'm looking at my old cartridges, right? Defender's kind of plain, not my favorite one, but Centipede is actually really cool. I liked how that one looks. The Donkey Kong, I did make a poster of that one. And then the Robotron, and then just the different Atari soft. These would make really cool posters. So kind of got the thing ball in motion, and that's why I started making these posters for my retro room. So I'm going to show you some of these cool posters that I've been making. One of my favorite so far is this Bruce Lee, which is really cool. I had to go with the Datasoft box on that one because I just like the Datasoft better than the gold. So my next poster that I'm like a lot is this Pirates, my newest one that I just came up with. Came out really well. Someone asked me why I didn't use this cover, because I didn't want the porn star pirate hanging on my wall and staring at me. So I went with the cool cover, this one here. And then someone pointed out to me that there's another one with two ships fighting each other, which actually looks really cool. And I think I'm gonna make one of that one too. I haven't got that far yet, but really happy with how both of these turned out, the Pirates and the Bruce Lee. They both look really, really cool. Bruce Lee, of course, it's got good old Yamo on there and the ninja and everything. Just love both these posters, so I can see these hanging up for a long, long time. So over in this other corner, I've got this really cool one. One of my favorite games is the Maniac Mansion. It was my first one that I made and kind of inspired me to do more. So I also made one a Space Taxi. So this corner is really cool. I got the Maniac Mansion and the Space Taxi poster. Huge fan of both the games. Love the retro Space Taxi, Haste Taxi, Up Please. Really, really big fan of both these games, and I think they turned out really, really cool. The Space Taxi looks really cool and retro by Muse, and of course the Maniac Mansion is just awesome. So really happy so far with the posters that I have made, and just wanted to share them with you, what I'm doing, give you some ideas, creative ideas, and see what you can do. So the number one thing in creating a cool retro poster is going out and finding a good source file of the picture you want to make a poster of. Either scanning your manuals, scanning your boxes, going out online and finding different pictures to be able to scan. It's relatively easy to go out there and find different ones. A few of the websites. So this website is one of my favorite sources to try to find artwork that I would like to make posters of. I tried to think of my top 10 favorite Commodore 64 games and which ones would I like. So let's say I want this Airborne Ranger right here. So here's Airborne Rangers, which actually is pretty cool, and I might actually want one. So I'm going to go ahead and download this photo. And once you got the photo, you can open it up, and it'll open up in the Windows 10 photo where you can edit it and so forth. But here's your picture here. And the big thing you want to know on these pictures is they got to be the right size to be able to print out a 24 by 36 poster, right? So then you can go in here and right click and choose the resize. And under resize, you can actually change the size of it. So right now it's the 416 by 550, which is very small. My favorite number, 3248, is what I use. Where I got that number is when I scanned one of my images in. That was the size that used on the very first poster that I made. So I just stick with that because I know it works when I put it out there. So 3248 is what I do for width, and it already adjusts the height automatically. And I click to save to resize copy, and then it'll bring it up here, obviously, the file, so you're able to save it. And so I'm going to save this here. I'm just going to call it USA 2 so I know that's the one that I just edited. So when I go out there, open where I just saved it, and I just named it the number 2, I'm going to double click it. And now you can see that it's drastically improved in size. And I can even go to the resize button to, and now you can see these are all listed and highlighted. I can go into the define custom dimensions, shows that I still saved it right there. So this one's actually going to be looking pretty good. So this is what I'm going to try to make a poster out of, is this Airborne Ranger here that I just resized and blew up. So after we find a good source, the next thing you want to do is, after you sized it and everything's good, is you want to use a good photo editor, right? So with the photo editor, you can go in here. And I use Adobe Photoshop Express. It's just quick and easy and something for me to use. Go into my picture library, select the one that I just did, open it up, and it'll show it. And if there's any kind of flaws or anything in here, I can actually adjust it and do it. So I could do the healing right here, because a lot of times these pictures that are out there, they have a little bit of flaws. And this one's actually really good, so it's not a greatest example to show, but you saw how I could heal this little bit down here. Now also in this one, I also can look at the different filters, so I could pick out one that I think would look very vibrant and look good on the poster. A lot of times I use summer with the yellow really pops, or the spring looks really good. Vibrant I always think is just too much, it just doesn't look right. The normal, I like the green. I don't want to change it to something other than the green. But looking at these different ones, the bueno looks really good. So those are just basically whatever looks good to your eye. That's what I picked that I think would pop on it. On this one, I actually really like the spring. Maybe not. How about the summer? I like this green here, so I like for it to show more. I might just stick with the original. I think the original actually looks really good on this one. So if I did go with it, this is what I do, but you definitely want to edit these, because like I said, some of the front cover boxes, pictures that people put out there have wrinkles on it, have the little blemishes in the corner, and you want to fix that up before you get on the poster. A lot of times I don't change the different things. So I'm going to load up a different picture here. Let's save that one. So let's pick another example I want to show you, and I'm going to go with this Goonies one because I know it was really pretty rough. So when you look at it, I wanted to make a poster of the Goonies. You can see the flaws that are all over it, right? You got the corners that are messed up, and you got the lines in it, and you got this right down here. And so there's things that I want to make sure you touch up. So that's why you could use whatever photo editing program you're used to or comfortable using. This is just one that it's just quick and easy for me to load, where I can go in there and start fixing these spots that are in there. Just clicking on it with the heel, and you can see I can remove some of the whites and making sure that everything looks good. I also could start trying to remove some of these wrinkles so they don't look bad either. If it starts putting something I don't want, I can always do my undo. But just nice little touch-ups to bring that. So you could basically just wanted to make it look good, so when it's on the poster it looks really solid and it looks like, you know, it doesn't have a lot of damage on here. Not a lot I can do right here. I guess if I was better with editors and so forth, I like to have the sticker on there saying Commodore 64, but this one's kind of really scratched up and so forth, but I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to stick it the way that it is. My focus is really the Goonies in this part of the picture right here, which I really love and think look really, really good. So that's why you want to edit the size and then you want to photo edit it, okay? How do I get them printed out? I have two sources, and my two sources here in the United States is either CVS or Walgreens. The pharmacy's always been known for developing pictures since I was a kid. That's where you took your film and different stuff. Well, now they have the photo editing where you can do 1 hour, and almost everybody has a CVS in the United States, and almost everybody has a Walgreens next by them, right? So that's the perfect place where you can cheaply get your pictures made, your posters made, and that's what I've been using. So let's go out there, and in Walgreens you can have all these different pictures and you can upload your pictures. So once you've edited it and made your changes and so forth, I can upload the photos that I want to upload from your computer up to there, so you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to select my photos from out here. I'm going to go with the Airborne Ranger that I was doing, so I'm going to open that up. So it's going to upload the Airborne Ranger picture. And once I have that uploaded, now I want to select it that this is what I want to be working with. And I go in here to make a gift and I pick poster. Now the posters start as low as $10.99, and you select the posters, and they got the different sizes. So you can do 11, 14, 12 by 18, 16 by 20, 20 by 31, and 24 by 36. That's my favorite. That's the big one that looks like the movie theater, so that's what I'm going with, is the 24 by 36. Now it says out here that it's 30 bucks. You never, ever, ever want to pay full price at either CVS or Walgreens. They always have coupons, they always have specials. You want to always use their specials, okay? Go with whoever's the cheapest. And so I'm going to pick the 24 by 36. I'm going to create now. And it's going to bring up this workspace here for you, okay? So within this workspace, I want the orientation not to be landscape. I want to be portrait up and down. So now I've got my picture in here with my Airborne Ranger, and it actually looks pretty good. I can adjust a little bit. You can do a little side to side if you have room up and down. So I can get that as centered the best that I want. If I want a little bit of green on each side, just so I do it, leave that all in there and so forth. And that's it. I've already edited the picture. I've got everything. Once I get it how I want it to look, I go to the review order. And then now under here of the review order, this is what my poster is going to look like, which actually looks really, really cool. And so then I go to proceed to cart. And this is where you want to apply the coupon. So you can go out there and look. I know the last one that I did was Happy Prints or Happy Print, and it applied a coupon, and you can see it took 15 bucks off of there, so it was like 50% off. So it's $14.99 for this poster. And if you buy a poster online, they range from you can get them from $8 all the way up to $20 depending on the size. This is a really good size. So for $14.99, that's not a bad deal. So once you got that, I could proceed on to checkouts, and I could check out and buy this poster, and then they're going to print it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed to checkout. And it shows my order all out here where it's going to be, so I can go pick it up, how much it's going to cost, and I just submit that order in my order, and it'll be ready to go. So it's going to cost me $16.19 for this poster, which to me is a pretty good price. Now this poster, again, I could go cheaper. If you don't like the 24 by 36 and you like the smaller posters, you can always go with the smaller ones and save you some money. To me, that's not a bad price for what it is. CVS actually has it even cheaper. I can get posters around $10 right now because they got 60% off, and they charge $26.99 instead of $29.99. And the good thing about the two difference, they both work the same way. It's like on their websites, it's the exact same setup for the posters. Everything's exactly the same. In fact, they both use the exact same printer when they print them out. So everything's almost identical on both the sites for Walgreens and CVS. So if you can do one, you can do the other. And so just pick the one that has the best price to you, because you can basically throw a rock and hit a CVS and Walgreens no matter where you are. So basically go ahead. That's how you can print out these quality posters that I've been showing you that's hanging up on my wall. And after that, you just decide what you want to do. Do you want to hang it up like a normal poster? Do you want to do like I did and add the frame around it so it looks a little bit more classy and looks like something hanging up instead of just a kid's room with a poster hanging up? Where do you get those frames? You can get them anywhere. You can go to Walmart. I get mine personally from Amazon, and I'll put a link out there to the ones that I use, the 24-36. Those are actually cost more than these posters, but I think they make them look really cool and makes them pop, having them in that black frame like that. But you can buy them at Walmart, you can buy them at Target, you can buy them at Michael's, you can buy them anywhere, like I said, or off of Amazon. So those are really easy to find. Just want the right size, the 24-36. I like the ones that I use because it's easier just to fold up the little tabs in the back, put the poster in and plop it down. So those are good. And then my poster be ready to go. The only thing you got left to do is hang up, and that is how I create my retro posters. So I hope that these few steps helps you get through, and maybe you could start creating posters. And please share when you do. I'd love to see the pictures of the different posters and the different ones that you did. And let's end it right here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe. Always love getting new followers, and we're growing daily on this channel and just having a blast. And when I come across stuff that I enjoy doing, I assume that other people might enjoy doing it too or want to make some posters. I know out there in social media a lot of people ask how I'm doing it, so I just wanted to show how easy it was and the few steps that you have to do to be able to create this cool artwork that you can hang up in your retro room, man cave, whatever you want to call it, game room. So until next time, thanks for joining me on another Floppy Deep Dive.